Hi there, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield, and welcome to Stupid O'Clock. We thought we were going to get Joe Dog tonight, but he started feeling under the weather here just about an hour or so ago, and decided that he's just going to go ahead and have an early night of it. And we may have a couple of special guests tonight, but right now we have John and Batman.
I'm Batman.
Okay, what's the over and under on the first Russian bot showing up? 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
There it is. Oh no, that's Sarah Heiser. Never mind.
That's your fan club, Bill. No.
Somebody tell Joe that at least the bots show up.
At least the bots show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody go ahead and post that on his page. You get a kick out of that, and then he'll get even. So
We need a Joe bot.
A Joe bot.
A Joe bot. We figure out a way to make reverse bots so that every time we get one of the Russian spam bots on our page, Joe can click on it and it will send a Joe bot back to their page.
To their page.
And it'll put links to Stupid O'Clock on their pages.
And then probably fart in their general direction.
Yeah.
Let's see. What have we got in the news? How about that SpaceX booster, second stage booster that's going to impact the moon here in a few days? I mean, it's not going to do any damage, but it's going to be good for the seismograph experiments that are still running up there.
Yeah, it is. It'll do wonders for the seismograph experiments.
That's what I'm saying. It'll be good for them. They'll get another
jolt.
Yes.
The only problem with it is, excuse me, it's on the dark side. So.
Yeah. Well, one of the articles I read was, unfortunately, it's going to be too small to be seen from Earth. And I'm going, well, it is going to be on far side, so it'd be kind of hard to see it from there anyway. And what's the progress on the James Webb telescope?
It is in position, and apparently it is fully deployed, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought they had reached the point to where it's slowly cooling down and getting to ambient temperature so that it can start undoing the shutter latches and start taking some pictures. I don't know how long it'll take for it to reach its operating cool down temperature, but no use rushing this stuff.
Russian.
Yeah. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Donna. We are doing okay. What on earth? All right. Evidently, I just had my own bot attack right here. I have the messenger page open on the iPad, and just because I spoke a name,
excuse me,
the patent pending iPad bot decided to speak to me.
No, that's just Donna Carly.
No. This was actually my computer, and it didn't even have the decency. Well, I do have it programmed with a British voice, a posh British voice. A posh female British voice, yes. And it does sound good. I do enjoy listening to it, but it was not summoned. I wish I could tell it to just respond to the button instead of listening to me. I mean, nobody else ever listens to me. Why does the vibe, Oh, Lord.
I'm getting the
Hey,
glitches over here on this end again. So if I
uh, y-
pop out and pop back in infrequently,
yep, you're just going to have to go to your neighbor and complain about his internet connection.
bang on his door.
Yeah,
Actually,
really.
Dan, yours isn't doing too hot tonight either, from my
It
point of
isn't?
view. You're
Well,
very blurry.
oh, I've been drinking. Of course, I'm blurry.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't have the camera focus. I mean, it does have autofocus, so maybe it's just not. Let me see here.
Actually, Bill's camera looks better than yours on my screen.
I don't know.
John's sucking up here, Timmy.
It may just be the green screen. I noticed that I probably don't have enough of the lights, but when I move them again, it starts washing my face out. It's hard to find week after week the same place that I put the gooseneck lamp, so that I actually have believable flesh tones instead of just being a washed out ghost the entire time. And there's only room in this universe for one space ghost, and I ain't him.
Space Ghost.
Oh, I used to love that when I was a kid. That and that
Still
Johnny
do.
Quest and Herculoids. I just absolutely love those. And then that was back when they were brand new. So there we go with that congestion again. I thought I was over that, but it keeps coming back. Hello, Keisha.
There's Keisha.
Oh,
Sounds like John's got the creeping crud too there tonight.
it's the delayed concrud.
Ah,
It waits till you least expect it, like 6 months later.
well, I should have it. We went on our trip up to Chicago Tuesday to find about 5 more inches of snow up there to shovel, snow and ice.
Ah,
But we did better as far as down in the basement part. I wasn't ankle deep in water.
ah,
Had a minor adjustment to do on his sump pump, and then everything was okay on that. But now the one thing that's going wrong over here for the last 24 hours here in Oakwood, I don't know if it's because of the cold weather that we're having up here or what it was. Oakwood had 4 different water main breaks.
excuse me a second, Bill. Woman,
Yeah.
hush your mouth. Oh, 4 different water main breaks.
Yeah, and by
I
the
bet you
way,
it was
it's not caffeinated. This is the original.
threaten us with a good time, why don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, they apparently, well, the water was off for the majority of the day yesterday. Well, yesterday afternoon and evening. It came back on briefly in the evening, and then today it was off again. So went over to Laura's dad to take a shower over there. Thankfully, I had all the laundry and everything caught up, so I didn't have to worry about that. Otherwise, I'd be doing laundry over there as well. But right now, the water is back on, and hopefully it'll be on to stay on this time. But they had 2 of them fixed by 5 o'clock, and was hoping to have the other 2 breaks repaired by 10. So.
Oh, you can have that one if you want, John. I got the first one. 11 minutes and 10 seconds till the first bot showed up.
There you go.
Yeah, I was reading on Facebook after I got home from work. Michaela Jade's furnace went out, and her husband stayed home from work today to fix it. Evidently, it was the fan motor.
Okay.
From what I understand. So, hope now they've got their heat back on, and up there this time of year, heat's kind of important. I am
Yes.
well, my wife and I have just been reminded of how sensitive to lower temperatures I am. I got us a little weather station, one for my office and a more complicated one for the living room. And it gives the indoor and outdoor temperature and humidity, among other. The one in the living room does other things as well. But I'm sitting back here when I got home from work, and my office is 70 degrees and 33% humidity. The living room is 62 degrees and 45% humidity, just on the other end of the house. I'm freezing to death when I walk in there. I close the door and turn on the space heater in here, and it got up to about 80 before my fingers were actually not cold anymore and my toes were not cold. So I'm going, what is wrong with your circulation, boy? You think as much alcohol as I drink, my blood would be thinner than an Arabian mare's. It ought to circulate real well. Uh, Definitely haven't had a problem with kidney stones yet, thank goodness. I'm hoping that I will continue that trend. They are, as I understand, very unpleasant to suffer through. So I'm hoping that I will skip through that phase of my life.
Been
But,
there, done that.
yep. Now it is a balmy 81 degrees and 26% humidity. This heater dries the air out real quick. And it feels good in here. I got a sleeping cat about 6 feet away from me. The door is closed. It's about 65 in the rest of the house. And Lindsay's sitting and watching her Britcoms. And she has an earache from not wearing her stocking cap Sunday morning when she went out to feed the cats at 6 o'clock in the morning. So
You have to get
these
her,
things,
to buy her some ear candles.
oh, I don't know. She's not really into alternative medicine. So
Alternative?
Yeah.
That's ancient.
Yeah, I know. Now, if I had a bottle of penicillin, she might take one of those. But that's not exactly over the counter these days.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Really?
Ear candles. I don't know about penicillin.
Oh, well, I meant penicillin. Even though that could come in handy sometimes for some people. I don't know. No, she took a couple of aspirin yesterday and knocked out the earache and nothing flat. She took a couple more today, and it's like throwing bricks in the Grand Canyon. It had absolutely no effect whatsoever. So she's going to go to bed soon as this Britcom is over, or it might be a British mystery. I don't know. Most of what she watches is BritBox. I spent the last 2 days catching up on stuff from the CW that I was not in the mood to watch when it was coming out every week. So I kind of binged 2 or 3 here, along with some primitive camping videos on YouTube. There's a fellow I discovered here about 3 weeks ago that not only is he a veteran with a lot of interest in tent camping and backpack camping, that sort of thing. Just go with very little gear and build your own campsite. But he is one of the most amazing campfire cooks that I have ever seen. He could give Lewis Lee a run for his money on mouth-watering goodies that get shown on screen. So,
Well, I got to say one thing as far as camping goes that I've never used, and I've used a lot of stuff, is the little hand warmers. I think they're called hot hands, and they're like a little bag, and you shake them up.
Yep.
Laura bought a bunch of those for us for our hands and toes because we thought we might be shoveling. The high for that day was 15 degrees, and they had some pretty good wind chills. By the time we got there, the shovel, it was about 11 degrees with below zero wind chills. And I had one in each glove. And I got good Wolverine boots that are heavily insulated to keep my feet dry and warm. So I wasn't worried about that. But those hot hands, I mean, to tell you, they last about 8 or 9 hours.
Well, good.
I still had them in my jacket pockets when we were driving home.
I had gotten some of them years ago for when I was in the factory in the wintertime, because if you're not right underneath an overhead heater or standing right in front of a heater, you get about 6 feet away. In that drafty old barn, it's 10 degrees colder than the outside just because of the wind chill. There's so many overhead doors, great big garage doors, big enough to drive a semi through and have room for a couple of forklifts on the other side. And then on the other end of the building, you've got the world's largest electric glass melting furnace. So it's like 2,800 degrees on one end of the building and open to the outside air on the other. So there's this constant kite flying weather inside the building. The wind chill can get up, get down to some really distressing measurements in there. I got really good at taking one of those brown Desert Storm Army surplus scarves, about 8 feet long, about 2-3 feet wide, and wrapping it around my head like I was the Invisible Man, and then putting my goggles on over top of that just to keep the wind from a doorway right in front of my face from giving me frostbite inside the building. But I had got some of those hot hands, and thankfully I had not actually tried to use them. I knew they had a good reputation, but I was thinking, well, either they'll get so hot they'll burn me, or they won't get hot enough for me to notice inside my leather gloves. But I had them there on standby, ready to go, but it never actually got to the point where I needed it. And we were, I remember one night when it was about minus 14 inside the building and about minus 4 outside the building. So,
yeah, I used to have the old-fashioned kind. It looked like a big metal, overgrown cigarette lighter, and it came with a red velour cover, a little bag that you just slip it in. I think it was something I had from Boy Scouts or something.
Nowadays, people would be using the bag for their D&D dice.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean it.
Well, they use the Seagram's
for money.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember those. Somebody had those back when we were in high school in the marching band. Somebody would have one of those. Usually, it was either a tuba player or a French horn player, because you got to be hands all over this cold brass. So I don't know. I never tried one of them myself. I guess my parents thought I was so accident prone, I might set myself on fire in the middle of the field, in the middle of a halftime show. That would be one people would not forget. It's not every day you get to see a French horn player set himself on fire. Bless you, cat. My cat just sneezed. Oh, okay.
Oh.
There you go. Michaela can vouch for it. She uses them in the tree stand when they're out deer hunting.
Yeah, they're good to have. Laura bought a big box of them too. So I'd bought them before to the people in my worked with me out in the garden center, but I never used them because I always had really super good gloves and everything, and it didn't bother me as much as it does now. But
Yeah. I went and got some of those uh, copper dot um, glove liners. They're basically the fingerless gloves. They're real thin and everything, but they did wonders here when our house furnace first went out and we didn't have the space heaters. We went out and got space heaters very quickly after that because I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to get the the old army surplus furnace that's under the house. I don't know if it's army surplus. If it's army surplus, it's like Civil War army surplus or Revolutionary War army surplus. It looks to me like uh, somebody duct taped 2 or 3 half dead furnaces together and then built the house over it because it's too big to have been got into the little the itty bitty hatch on the side of the house to get to the crawl space. Uh, I'd have to go to the point of having a concrete pad poured and cut holes in the brick walls and just getting an external thing here, which is kind of dangerous in this area because people will come and steal the wiring right out of it. So
take the copper.
Yep. Oh.
This one house that we rented out, it was a farmhouse when we were living in Indiana. And the original, we were just renting it, didn't buy the house, thankfully. But the furnace that was down in the basement looked like something from like the 40s or early 50s. Hey, Carl. And it looked like if you took Gigantor, took its heads and arms and legs off and then reconfigured them around for duct work.
Yeah.
This thing was super huge, super. You had to use fireplace matches to light the pilot light, and it was a drafty basement, so the pilot light went out all the time. And eventually it gave up the ghost, and the owner had to replace the entire furnace, which he should have done 30 years before, but
he was just saving up for it.
Yep. We got a brand new one out of the deal.
Yeah. I shall return. I'll be right.
Great.
These
are 2 coughing old guys back on the show.
Now, I haven't coughed yet tonight, thank God, but knock on wood. But
I just took a shower and I was doing really good. And then just after I dried off and was sitting here relaxing, drinking some stuff, started coughing again.
I always keep my little Batman mug full of the Starlight peppermints that I get from Sam's Club. They come in a bag as huge as a big pillow, and those things work really well about stopping my cough.
Hey, Bill. Apparently you're describing Carl's house with that old furnace.
Well, I never saw Carl's furnace. I've been in his house, but yeah, could be. Maybe Carl bought the Gigantor furnace off of my old landlord.
Do you remember the movie Home Alone?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin was afraid to go down the basement because I had that old furnace, and it was kind of funny. He'd go down there and the pilot light would kick on and start the furnace up. It's like,
yeah, that's about what this was. It had a big round glass window right dead center of it. And that thing would glow 4 or 5 different colors. And why, I don't know. You think it would glow the color of the pilot light, and that's about it. But Not so. I think there was something evil in that furnace. I'm glad yours got fixed, Michaela. I've had to replace a blower fan before too, and they're not hard to do, but they're not cheap either.
One of the problems with anything nowadays is my mom's second husband was an electrician. We used to fix everything right now. Refrigerator would go out, he'd go buy the compressor stuff. Washer, dryer, we'd pull that thing. I know more about appliances just from watching him fix stuff. And just we had 20,000 volt Christmas ornaments in our windows. Hand blown by his family, neon Christmas ornaments with these, these big darn transformers hanging underneath them. You flip the things on, you're nah. They were cool as heck to watch, but scared the hell out of me. I was afraid I was going to bump into it in the middle of the night and electrocute myself.
Come on, wire, quit twisting the camera. Oh, yeah, Michaela, we were just talking about that. We were very glad that you got the furnace fixed. So up there in the frozen north, you kind of need that time on a regular basis.
Can you imagine being a heating and repair guy in Alaska?
I could imagine being a very rich heating repair guy.
Yeah. If you live that long, I would think you would be on call all the time.
Oh, that's good. That is really good. Yes. It's something. There are some basics that everybody needs to learn, unless they have absolutely no mechanical aptitude whatsoever. One of my best friends, I love him to death, but he can't even wire up a stereo back in the 70s when it was just, speakers go here,
Hey.
Every time he moved, I had to undo all the wires. He had one of these huge component stereo systems, the ones with the chrome face and the equalizer and all the lights and everything that would dance around. I had to unplug all that stuff, and we towed it over there, and then I had to sit there and plug it all back up, because if he was on his own, he'd be stuck with a transistor radio. It'd be about the most complicated thing he could manage, because you could turn it on, you could turn it off, or you could change the station, and that's about the level of his expertise. Oh yeah, things like that always happen. It's Murphy's Law. If it's going to be the coldest night of the year, the power will go out, the furnace will go out, a water pipe will break in the middle of the night. I had to crawl into the house here just a couple of months ago and patch a hole in the bottom of the pipe, in one of the copper pipes. And then Joe Dog told me how to do an instant repair after I'd already done it. So I did it the hard way, the way you're supposed to, the way a plumber would do it. Joe Dog goes, "Oh, get yourself an inner tube, cut it up, wrap it around it, get a couple of soda cans, wrap them around it, and then put a bunch of hose clamps on it to keep it from leaking." And I'm going, "Dude, do you know how hard it is to find a bicycle inner tube in this day and age? I mean, those are scarcer than hen's teeth." Oh, John, you're still muted.
Good.
Oh.
It's easy enough to find a bicycle inner tube. It's just they all suck because they're all made in China. Walmart's got them all over the place. Just none of them worth a damn.
Oh well, all I needed it for was a Band-Aid. But I went ahead. I went down and got one of those shark tooth couplings, open ended on both ends, and got my little copper pipe cutter, little bitty thing, about the size of a pencil sharpener, or a big pencil sharpener anyway. And just eats into the copper as you slowly tighten up the little cutting wheel on it. You just spin it around and around, and eventually a chunk of copper falls out of the middle of the pipe, and you stick the shark bite coupler in there, and it's good to go. But I was down there having long philosophical discussions with the black widow spiders that live under the house. They decided that I looked too lumpy to eat, so however, they were really into philosophy, so thank goodness I took that class at the university. I think I won't taste good, therefore I don't.
Almost sound like you're getting ready to go into a poetic frame of mind.
Ooh, no. Actually, I have been reading Cthulhu Mythos stories. I started a collection of various authors from back in the day when all that stuff was brand new. So it was H.P. Lovecraft and Clark Ashton Smith and Lynn Carter and Howard, the fellow that created Conan. What was his first name? I know Howard was his last name. Bob.
No,
Robert,
I don't.
Robert Howard.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, senior moment.
And I have a friend by the same name, so you think I would know that, but
well, you probably just don't associate him with Conan.
Nope, not in the least.
It's a huge long book, and it's in my Kindle Fire tablet. The only time I've got to read for pleasure is when I'm on break at work. So I get like 90 minutes a day, whereas I used to sit and read hour after hour after hour all day long. That'd be all I do is listen to the radio or listen to the stereo and read books. But I started that just before Keisha's book came out. So the next thing on my reading list is Keisha's book, so I can give her a review. There we go.
Which I still have to do that. I did finish your book, thoroughly enjoyed it, and want to do that. But hey, speaking of books, Michaela Jade got a birthday today, and she shares a birthday with a famous author, Charles Lutwidge Dodgson. I bet she never knew that.
I don't know. She might have.
From Cheshire, England, 1832. But
Facebook user 2:35 a.m. here. Is that
England?
Well, yes, it would be. I'm trying to get my brain to come up with the right name.
Cheshire. He owns a cat.
It's Glenn B. Fleming. That's the name I was slowly groping for, Glenn. I'm sorry.
And Glenn, do you know what author I'm talking about? Of course, Charles Lutwidge Dodgson is his real name, but that's not the name we know him from. But he wrote a book.
I'm not going to say, being as I'm a host on the show, I'm not going to answer.
Yeah, really. Right. And yeah, I have read the books, so hang on. Stephanie just messaged me. She's not going to be able to make it tonight. Her intestinal trouble is still.
Yep.
Oh, nobody knows. Oh, Donna knows.
Donna. Okay. Go ahead, Donna. This is for the Boswell button and the trip to Cheshire, England. You can see Glenn about those tickets.
And a lifetime supply of rice-a-roni.
Roni, the San Francisco treat.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. He did write a few books. I know of two right off the bat. I actually have them in hardback. A nice little.
I do
There
too.
you go.
There you go, and there's your answer.
Yay! Oh, and I think Glenn has went and given permission for Facebook to show his name to StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
He is no longer operating under an alias. And it's nerd culture time. Hello,
Hey,
Ryan.
Nerd Culture.
Hey, Ryan.
Hello there.
Hello.
Thank you for being here, and welcome to the show again.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I'm late. We wrapped up our weekly Boba Fett recap show moments ago, and then Thomas Carter Rochester, my special guest, and I could not stop nerding out on all things Star Wars and all things greatness. So we just and we caught up with each other because we haven't seen each other in a long time. So it's good to catch up with friends through virtual reality if you have the choice. So, but yeah,
Yes.
I heard Bill Sarton told me that this is one of the hottest shows in town. So I thought I'd stop by, see what's going on, and see if you guys needed to add some more electricity to the proceedings. So that's what I'm here for.
You did remember to wear your asbestos suit, didn't you now?
I did. I have a really good-looking suit that has something known as Star Wars on it. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this. It's only been around for like 45 freaking years. Which, by the way, that movie celebrates its 40th anniversary in May, and we are going to do a celebration of that on our YouTube channel to commemorate that.
All right.
So
yes, I remember it well.
Same here.
It was the best of times, and it was the
friends-
worst of times. It was
My friends and I
1977,
from college
18.
went and stood in line for opening night for the.
Really?
Call
On
me
May
Ishmael.
25th. Bless your heart, good sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick question here. How many times did everyone see Star Wars the first time it came out?
That's
7
not
the first
fair.
year.
I've got like 3 different versions of the videotape alone.
No. In the movie theaters.
Oh, in the movie theaters?
Mhm.
Nowhere near as many times as I've gone to a movie theater to see Rocky Horror. I'd say about 12.
That's a lot of anticipation.
Yes.
Sorry, that's a Rocky Horror reference. Anyway, I saw the musical
I
at my
got that.
college. I didn't see the movie, but I've seen the musical at my college, so I know what Rocky Horror is and all that jazz. It's fine. I'm not a giant fan like everyone in America is, but that's all right. But hey,
Well,
because
it-
hey, you
it's
like
an
what you
acquired-
like, and that's okay.
It's an acquired taste.
It very much is, because that's just not necessarily my cup of tea, Earl Grey. But yeah, how many times I see Star Wars in the theater? I don't know, maybe once when they re-released it in 1997 for the special editions, because that's how I saw Star Wars in the theater. But then I remember watching it as a kid on VHS. Yes, the original version. Thank you very much. And I still have both my original versions and my special edition version VHS tapes, and they are in good working order.
Now,
went
if
and
we
saw
could
it.
just be able to
Now-
buy a VHS player that works.
Oh no, I have
Oh.
one.
But VHS wouldn't be the original. It would either be Beta Max, which would either came out just prior or equal to VHS.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Laserdisc, yeah.
That's right. You're right. I wasn't there back then. I'm a bit young.
I was there back then, and I didn't bother with Betamax or
That's okay.
Laserdisc.
There's no shame in that.
Back in the day, Northgate Cinemas used to have a Saturday matinee.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I was just looking at the comments here in the chat. These are wonderful suggestions for me to take up on, whether it's reading
yeah.
the comics or reading Jack Kirby's New Gods. Okay.
Oh yeah. I would.
I like
recommend
I see Michaela Jade's in here. She just celebrated her 21st birthday again. Happy birthday, Michaela Jade. Carl Witzman
Yep.
just turned 65 again yesterday. Congratulations, Carl. You don't look a day over 64. I mean, and Glenn B. Fleming and him and Ted Davies just had a new episode of, what was it, Comics Unlimited drop this morning on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, which, by the way, if you're new to comics or if you're a veteran comic fan and you want to learn more stuff, check out Comics Unlimited, because I'm learning fascinating new things about Jack Kirby and Frank Miller.
I would highly recommend it. I've only been able to see one episode because I work during the daytime.
Oh, you got that 9 to 5 making mad money kind of job? Okay.
7 to 3:30.
Oh, okay. So it's not 9 to 5, but it's somewhere within the realm.
It's within the and it's daytime,
Mhm.
Monday through Friday, daytime only. So I
Nice.
worked 38 years of 12-hour swing shifts to be able to get that job. It's still in the same factory, but
I'm sorry. Carl says
Gotta
64. Ahem. That's 62 to you, young man. No problem, Carl. Sorry, I got your age wrong. I'm sorry. But Carl, it's good to see you in the comments section of every show that I tune in for, because you and I, we correspond with each other sometimes during these shows. Isn't it fun, Carl? Isn't it fun?
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I
Now-
can't help it. Your comment section is very lively, and I appreciate that. I love the interaction.
well,
Ryan, when you think of Frank Miller, what was the first thing you ever saw of Frank Miller's?
Good question. I would say
Personally.
personally, yeah, it would be the film that came out back in 2005, his adaptation of Sin City, the film, the movie. It's a good movie too. I actually like the sequel. A lot of people don't like the sequel. They throw it under a very heavy bus, but I actually like Sin City Part 2, A Dame to Kill For. I like both movies for different reasons. I like them. I haven't read the comics that they're based on, but I like the films. Oh, and I did see Frank Miller's. I don't know if he directed it or he produced it, but does anyone remember The Spirit? Do you
Yes,
remember The
I
Spirit?
do.
Gabriel Mock.
Will
Yeah.
Eisner.
And that guy, Gabriel Mock, later went on to play Harvey Specter on one of the best legal dramas of all time, known as Suits on USA Network. It was great. Suits was
Yeah.
great. The Spirit was fine. I liked it. Not nearly as much as
A
Sin
lot of
City,
people
but
can it. They didn't really like it. I get the feeling that they didn't know
they didn't know what
a
they were
lot
doing.
about the source material.
No, but I am willing to read the Spirit comic books. If anyone has some suggestions in the comments, let me know. I'm always up for new comics, because as someone may or may not know, I'm a bit young on this panel, and I've only been reading comics for 5 years, so I got a lot to read.
I know you're young when I ask you about the first thing of Frank Miller that you've ever experienced, and you mentioned a movie and not
From
one of the
2000.
comics.
And not the comics known as The Man Without Fear, Daredevil from the 1980s. I know. Which, by the way, they talked about Frank Miller on this morning's episode of Comics Unlimited.
Mhm. Yeah,
Probably would've taught
and
me a
that
thing or two.
and
I
that
was not in
same
the habit
series.
of reading the credits on the comics that I was reading as a child. So I was enjoying everything. I just didn't know who was doing it.
Well, it used to be hardly anybody knew who was doing it unless you knew where to read. And then later on, probably from the early mid 70s on, they made more of a to do about who wrote it, who inked it, who lettered it. You know, I think Julie Schwartz had a lot to do with that. But the Frank Miller Daredevil series was the first. Yes, that was the first I ever read.
Oh, nice.
And then, but a lot of people, it's really funny because they'll say, "Oh yeah, The Dark Knight Returns," you know, because that was the pivotal thing for Miller. That's what put him over the top. And then a lot of people would go back and read Daredevil and other things from him that he had little kind of pop-ups on and that.
Was that the God Loves Man Kills story, or was that
that was X-Men?
That was X-Men. Okay.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's another story I'm a bit fascinated by, because I believe X-Men 2 was the movie was partially inspired by that comic book, God Loves Man Kills.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I wouldn't.
So if anyone knows the correlation between that and X-Men 2, X-Men United, let me know, because I'm not sure if my facts are 100% right. I mean, I'm a smart guy, but I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So I'll leave that to you, fine gentlemen.
In this
I'm not even in a room.
You've got a good, got a top spot.
If you're in a studio, Bill, that's fine too. Look at me, I'm in a studio. If you can't tell by my good-looking tapestry,
I'm in a cornfield, and this is a green screen behind me. I'm freezing out here, but that's all right. I do it for you guys.
We appreciate you doing so, Bill. And by the way, the artwork of Bill Sarton, that's a fascinating Facebook page. If you have not liked his page, like that page, because where he goes, every day is Saturday. Check out
Actually,
that page
Facebook doesn't let you like it anymore. Now
really?
you can only be a follower. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you
imagine that.
If you follow these pages, we would greatly appreciate it, because the artwork of Bill Sarton is so money, he doesn't even know it. So good.
Poo on these metas.
I know. Whoever designed the algorithms are crazy. I know.
I do have something to celebrate myself today.
Oh, do you?
Today, my e-zine, Aphelion, started its 25th year of publication online.
Congratulations.
So we have gifted the world with getting close to 500 brand new science fiction, fantasy, and horror writers in the last 24 years, starting on 25. Without ever charging a dime for anybody to read the website, for anybody to submit anything. It's basically a permanent floating writers workshop with no ads, no. Hey, we're in this. Our drive is to help people, new writers, learn their chops, and turn around and have the confidence and the skill to be able to sell their work.
That is truly amazing. On behalf of me, myself, and I, and all of us at Nerd Culture, we say congratulations to you, good sir.
Well, thank you. It's been, that is my reward, is watching these people go, hey, I sold the story. It means I can't send you anymore because you don't pay us. I'm going, that's the idea. If we paid you, you wouldn't go away. You'd stay right here.
Man, that's good stuff. Writers' rights so that readers can read. It's wonderful. And life is better when reading anyway. I enjoy reading.
Oh, it's been one of my hobbies my entire life.
I love it.
I've always either been out in the middle of nowhere or been the oldest kid in the neighborhood and by about 10 or 15 years, and not exactly popular with the younger kids until I built tree houses. And then it helps knowing which end of a hammer to hold on to and how to drive a nail.
Yeah, fair enough. Wow, that is amazing. Life is better when reading. And hey, if anyone doesn't know anybody about author Michaela Jade, she's got great books. Carl Witzman written a few things that are fantastic. I know Amy Hale is fantastic. I read some of her stuff recently, authoramyhale.com. She's fantastic. I mean, Bobby Nash is a boss. Like, Bobby Nash is one of my favorite writers in the universe right now. So if you have not checked out Bobby Nash's stuff, he is awesome sauce, and you've got to go to bobbynash.com because he is a cool dude. He is.
It's the only snow I like.
I know,
man. I love it.
Most of our commenters here are fellow writers.
Yeah, they're great. Yep. I have the latest issue of Comics Unlimited from Glenn B. Flynn.
Donna does, Michaela, Carl, Keisha.
Oh, Keisha Acuff. That is, she's something, isn't she?
Yeah.
Keisha,
we're still trying to figure out what, but
I don't know what she is. I don't know how she was formed or how she got transported to the universe called Earth, but I'm telling you, she's a superstar in a very unique sort of way.
I think sort of like Alice, she stepped through a portal.
Yeah, I think she did too. She went down a rabbit hole, and she looks all her surroundings. She says, "I'm curious and curious." So it's just, yeah, Keisha, we love you. You're crazy. You're weird. You don't make a whole lot of sense. But every time you're on camera with us, we appreciate you for who and what you are, because you're an artist, you're a creator, and we support that. So,
I just did.
Awesome sauce. That's even better. Which, by the way, she's got a new book out right now called Him, which you can find on Amazon.
Who?
That's very true. It's called, the name of the book is called Him, and it's written by Keisha Acuff.
I know. I own it.
Oh, you do, don't you? Fantastic.
It doesn't involve a large red guy with like claws that chases the
and it has nothing to do with Rupert Holmes' second single. Just saying.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it does. Does anyone else know in the comments?
But it might have something to do with pina coladas. I don't know that to be 100% accurate, but I'm just saying.
I think I saw some rails go by here a few minutes ago.
Really? Was this show ever on any rails? Because some people tell me most of these shows that I see on the airwaves were never on the rails to begin with, and that includes Keisha Acuff's show known as Cryptid Crunch.
Well, we start off on a rocket sled, and then we run out of rails real quick. So
I've got ridden out of town on a rail before, but
Really?
Yeah, but you're a Civil War reenactor. That's par for the course.
Oh, wow.
Used to be. Not anymore.
I was going to say, you learn something new every day in this world.
Yeah.
About 24 years, and then my knees went bad.
That's kind of about
that.
No, hey. I got out of the SCA about 40 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I was just too busy with my day job. I couldn't go to events anymore, and
that's
It's just one of those things. I enjoyed it. People got a little bit too serious from time to time, but then again, a lot of people got just lighthearted enough to where it was fun. I miss it sometimes, and then again,
That's a bit interesting.
I found a substitute here a decade or so back with steampunk, which is much easier to costume for.
You know, what's funny? I read a book not too long ago that's set during the events of the Civil War. It's called A High Price to Pay by Rick Gendraw. And it's about a young man who goes to fight for one of the two sides during the events of the Civil War. I don't want to spoil which one it is, but he goes to fight for the certain side of the war, and he keeps questioning himself every step of the way. Like, am I in this for the right reasons? Am I fighting on the right side? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Should I go back to my family and, back home on the farm, or should I not? Should I go be with the woman that I love or not? Like, it's a very, very well told story. So if you're looking for historical type stories that are set during certain events that are true, but it's, what is it, like historical fiction, if you will, check out A High Price to Pay by Rick Gendraw on Amazon. It is a very, very good story, and I gave it a very good review on Goodreads. It's good stuff if anyone's interested. Just throwing that out there. Sorry, I know we're supposed to talk about other nerdy stuff, but I can't help it. I like books.
We don't have a set topic. I mean,
I guess we don't.
Nope.
And that's one of the best. I mean, we were talking about all kinds of things earlier. Oh, here comes another one.
Thank you for raising our algorithms, Mr.
Really?
Russian bot.
Monier has struck again.
Joy Swidonia.
I was wondering where those came from. By the way, Carl, just to answer your question in the chat, I'm going to go back and watch the replay of Comic Book Spectrum because I know I asked them a question during tonight's show. I didn't get the chance to hear their answer, but I will go back to it sometime tomorrow, Carl, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
I did have a show to do tonight, Carl. I do have my own stuff going on. You know that, right? Like, I got Boba's Weekly Bounty on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. EST. And then I got another show I'm doing tomorrow night, which is that live or is it pre-recorded? No, it'll be live.
Another one.
Saturday, I'm doing a live show with And I Quote, where I'm going to be interviewing Anna Maria Salvaggio, a.k.a. Ren Melion. So that's going to be something.
She's a delightful lady.
I look forward to meeting her. This will be my first time meeting her face to face. So
she's amazing.
Yeah, hopefully it goes over well. Hopefully it's a great show, and everyone tunes in on Saturday at 12 p.m. EST on Facebook. Simply add Nerd Culture, but you can see it, my lovely name tag on the bottom of this lovely looking screen. Hashtag always promote your stuff, as Brian K. Morris once said.
Yes.
Yep.
He's very good at that. Brian K. Morris is very good at plugging stuff.
And he makes it so subtle, you almost don't notice until you realize you've noticed.
You know, the reason that Plasma Fire Graphics...
We need a sarcasm hashtag here, don't we?
Yeah, you know how Plasma Fire Graphics is tattooed on my brain is because Brian K. Morris won't be quiet about it. He always says, go to plasmafiregraphics.com where the look of your book matters to you. And I'm like, that's the same way I say it, Brian, because I picked it up from you. So I blame Brian K. Morris for all my isms and my problems. Thank you, Brian K. Morris. Take another shot.
Yep, I'm hoping that, let's see, I've got one more book I'm close to finishing, and then I've got...
Really?
Another one that I'm about halfway through writing, and then I've got one that I have to pretty much write from scratch, but I've already got a couple of chapters in it, just flowing. And then I'm hoping that I will get a chance to go back and do the part one of the steampunk book that I was writing years and years ago. I've got the part two is that got finished first for some reason. And then I knew enough about the characters to where I could go back and try and get them from Once Upon a Time to, hey, this is where the stuff hit the fan. Yep. Yeah,
Carl Witzman says that BKM is secretly training all of us to take over his show so that he can start 3 more. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian K. Morris gives me a call one day and says, Ryan, you're my good friend. Can you do me a favor and take over Nevermind the Furthermore on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? And I'm like, dude, I'm still asleep at 10 a.m., man. What are you doing to me? Like,
Carl's got that.
Yeah, Carl could probably do it because, as we all know, Carl likes to have fun with his techno gadgets because he always puts weird stuff on screen when something goes wrong. For instance, he plays the image of a train barreling into something and exploding when something's a train wreck, which, Carl, I think most of the stuff you do online is a train wreck. But still, when he plays that, I'm like, geez, Carl, you got away with your techno stuff, don't you? He's like, yeah, I got this thing here. I use it. And I'm like, Carl, you're just too cool for school, man. Seriously. You're one-upping on me. It's crazy.
He is the OBS wizard.
He is. He's so good at that stuff. He pulls up all these different graphics during shows, and I'm thinking to myself, I am nowhere near that level of awesomeness, but Carl makes it look easy.
Well, we have our own little StreamYard expert with Joe Dog McKeel.
Oh, that's right.
He knows as much or more about using StreamYard than the people that wrote the program. And everybody in the groups, not just Stupid O'Clock, but Last Man Standing and Armchair Rocket Science. And there's just, with all this going on, Joe Dog has learned an awful lot about the program. And keeps learning more because he goes to their official little I don't know if it's monthly or weekly chats that they do.
Okay.
But there's new stuff coming out on StreamYard all the time. There's been new stuff I've had to get used to here in the last 2 or 3 months. And it's fun. I enjoy it. My wife,
Carl gave some.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, my wife finally suggested that I get a little Christmas tree light or something and hang it outside my office door so that she knows when the camera is on. Because she hates being on camera.
Now, somewhere they had a light that it was about this big. That actually it's a plug-in and it says on the air. It looks like one of those vintage on the air lights that you would see over a doorway. And when I first started coming on this show, I thought I might buy one of those just to sit on my computer desk here with all the other toys and junk. And now I have so many toys on the desk here that I probably don't have a spot for it. But I did go back to look for it, and now I cannot remember where I saw it. So that's my holy grail right at the moment.
Well, what I did was I found an LED chandelier bulb, one of those fake flame, candle flame looking things. So I went to Lowe's and I bought basically the innards of a lamp that had the socket for one of those. And within a day or so, we were at Goodwill and found a wall-mounted lampshade. I mean, cloth lampshade, but it's half. One half is open. You put it against the wall. The other half is just a lampshade. So it's hanging outside the door right now, and it is on. And it's pretty neat. It gives us a lot of light in the hallway because, well, my wife grew up in England with all kinds of family history about the war and the English version of the Great Depression. And she's very frugal. So anything that doesn't cost a lot of money, she's really in favor of. And once again, I have to step away to the littlest room, and I will be right back. Oh, and Ryan, I've got to congratulate you. It's very rare that I meet a person that talks even more than Bill.
Well, while he takes his commercial break, which don't get me wrong, I may have to take one here in a few minutes myself, but I digress. No, thank you for having me. It's great to be here with you guys. It's great to meet you. I've heard so many things, not all of them wonderful, but it's good to be here with gentlemen such as John and gentlemen such as Dan and Bill. It's good to see you again because you've been on my show in the past, which was great. It was a lot of fun. And your artwork is stupendous. And I try to share your sketch of the day every chance I get because it brings back some fond memories and it brings back some good time. It has it's like the Joker says in all the Batman movies, let's put a smile on that face. Well, it does. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I did do one new sketch this year so far, but I've been so busy with so many other things. And then I've got a couple commissions on there that I've been working on that I haven't been able to pop up a daily one every once in a while, but I'm going to do another one. And, but I almost tagged you in the Snoopy one that I did the other day. I think it was Monday or something like that.
It was great. I shared it. I shared that and a few others in the course of this week or last week.
And I appreciate that. Okay. Now, so you've been bragging on all of us. and it's time that I need to brag on you a little bit, because for all the stupid o'clock people out there that are here every week that we greatly love, Michaela, Keisha, Carl, Donna, Glenn, all the Russian bots that we love so well, that keep us, the algorithms doing really well. And I care nothing at all about Al Gore, much less his rhythms, but nevertheless, I got to tell all of you people, this person, let's see, I guess I got a point. Nope, I got a point. This way.
There it is.
Let's see. This way. No, this way.
Yeah,
this. There, here we go. This guy right here. Last July, Ryan was the very first one ever to interview me on the air. I was scared, you know what, Les. Hey, Greg, how you doing? And I just, I learned, well, first of all, you couldn't get a better interviewer than Ryan. I mean, now a little bit ahead of time, he kind of, I kind of asked him, Ryan, just give me a little bit of a hint of a few of the questions that you're going to ask so I can prepare myself a little bit, because this is my first one and I don't want to look any more stupider than what I do. And that's even before talking. Yeah, no, Ryan didn't.
Ryan told you the wrong questions just to catch you off guard, didn't he?
Oh man, I want to tell you, and I thought Ed Grant, or Ed Asner as Lou Grant, was going to be the answer to question number 5, and he asked me what my favorite type of food was, and that I looked so foolish. I really, really did. No, all kidding aside, Ryan is a wonderful interviewer. He's got some great shows. He was not only the first one to interview me, much less talking so much about my artwork. I know he generally means what he says, because he does share everything. He does comment on stuff. And not only that, he commissioned me to do some work for a show that him and his buddy Dave Adams has. And, he's an all around great guy. He's got some wonderful shows on there. And, if you're like me, you can't watch every show that there is out there live, because who lives that long? So I watch a lot of stuff on reruns, and I watch a lot of Ryan's and that on there. Brian Morris's is the same way, where I used to be in there live all the time. Now my mornings are consumed, and typically I could probably listen to Brian while I'm doing my other work, but I'm in and out so much. I would rather go back and watch the reruns, so that way I can at least, hear everything that's going on. But I just, and Ryan is always constantly promoting other people, and that's great. That is Rising Tide, because Ryan promotes everybody. It is not Rising Tide just for this group of people over here, but then this group of people over here are totally ignored, and that Ryan promotes everybody, and I've seen it. And that is Rising Tide. That's truly what it's all about. So I gotta give kudos where kudos are due, and so I'm done embarrassing you right now, and let's get back to the topic at hand, which I think was furnaces.
No. In all honesty,
Ryan, I believe you were the first person to interview Keisha as well.
That's a good question. I may or may not have been. Keisha, if you're somewhere out there in the ether, which we know you are because you never sleep, you're doing a million things, and you're a multitasker, unlike me, where I have a hard time doing that, but I try. No, I think I may have interviewed her the first time, and it was great. She's, like I said, she's she's strange. If there was an episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not, she would be on it. But in the best way, because we love her to pieces for it. Keisha, you're a sweetheart. We love you. But still, which, by the way, Keisha, me, and a few others are doing a project later this weekend, so I get to work with her again. So, Keisha, we're going to be in a studio this weekend. It's a pre-recorded show. I can't say anything more about it. But still, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, no, in all honesty, though, it was great to interview you, Bill, because your artwork is definitely great. It's fabulous. It's something I don't see all that much. So I appreciate what you do and bringing back these memories for whoever the audience may or may not be. It's fantastic. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I like to interview people and hear their story. And because there are so many content creators out there that I don't know about. The indie circuit is so massive. It's so hard to keep up with because there's so much going on. And there are so many indie creators out there. But if I can support them in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to do the best I can to do it. Like, for instance, I met someone a few nights ago because he liked one of my comments, and I found out more about him. I DM'd him. I said, hey, you do X, Y, Z. Can you send me links to your work so I can, learn a bit more about what your business is, what exactly it is that you do? And he said, yeah, sure. So he sent me the link to his latest Kickstarter. He sent me the link to his page for his business where he supports indie comic writers and artists of all shapes and sizes. And I was like, damn, Philip, this is good stuff. And I said, I want to have you on my show. I want you to be a guest. I want you to be on the set. And he said, wow, man, I didn't see that one coming. Thanks very much. I said, no, thank you, because I'm learning something new about you, and I appreciate what you're doing. I dig what you're doing. I dig what you're trying to sell. So let's talk about it, because I like to have conversations, if you can't tell by now. I like to chippy chapper. So if I want to have a friendly conversation, promote someone's projects, I'm going to do it, Dan. And I'm going to do it on my show, my way, because being your own boss is so much fun. Let's face facts. And at the same time, I get to meet new people every Saturday at 12 p.m. EST. That's the beauty of this show, and that's why I like doing shows, is because I love meeting new people, and if I want to support the work, I'm going to support the work. And how I'm going to do it? Because I share my stuff on Facebook or Twitter, whatever it is. If I can retweet their stuff, I retweet it. If it's on Instagram, I share it on my story. If I like to share it on my Facebook page, I'm going to do it, because as one wise person once said, sharing is caring, and it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And if I can help in any way, shape, or form, Dan, I'm going to do it. Oh. My name is Ryan, and I complete my sales pitch.
I think he was channeling his inner Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, probably. Because I grew up watching Hulk Hogan in the late 90s, so yeah, I know who Hulk Hogan is. I had the pleasure of meeting Sting and Ric Flair and Christian Cage one time at a convention. It was a lot of fun. I enjoy meeting those guys.
There is a group that I'm in called the Chuck Shack Classic Movies and Cartoons. And Chuck Shack, he's a friend of mine who brings me. He's one of my contacts for some of the cartoons that I share in my Everyday is Saturday group.
But
there's a guy.
I've got to write a new banner. I've really got to write a new banner. It says, "Who is your friend, Bill?" He knows half the people on the face of the earth.
Knows everybody.
Well, not quite, but I'd say half.
By the way, Greg, it's nice to meet you too, good sir. He's in the chat. Greg Casella. I don't know who that person, but it's good to meet you, Greg.
Yep, he runs the United Weather Bureau
Network.
Oh, the network. Okay. Thank you. You know, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I used to watch the Weather Channel every morning before school, and I said to myself, I want to be the next weatherman. And then I realized you got to take advanced math and science. And I said, well, science, maybe I can help you with. Math, not so much. And then I realized,
but at least they played cool music in behind the
local on the 8s,
the ever scrolling local broadcast. Yeah,
that would be the local on the 8s, which they still do, as far as I know, on the Weather Channel. I haven't watched that in a while. Lately, I've been watching AccuWeather to just something in the background if I need something to chill out to. I'll just watch AccuWeather on the television, not the radio, but. That's fun too. Anyway, I like the music beds because they play elevator music and they play smooth jazz.
To see the pictures, but
it is, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me all that much. I don't know, but still. But yeah, I like having friendly conversations and meeting new people every week. That's what I love doing. So.
Well, one thing about Greg, he not only does great work with his United Weather Network group, but the guy is an awesome photographer.
Ooh.
Oh yes.
And
I do like photography.
we had what was it, a couple of weeks ago, Dan? We had Greg on the show, and we kind of did a little slideshow of all of his nature photography that he did, and
Well, I'm sure
and
it's-
he's actually, yeah, he had his photographs shared in a couple different calendars, and that as well too. So, or
That's
you know,
awesome.
featured in them.
I think I'm on the
would say
United.
we didn't see a tenth of his work and everything. I've seen a lot more on his posts on Facebook, and he is selling prints.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
and,
Yep.
and
Good point.
believe me, this is some beautiful photography.
I gotta
So-
look this stuff up.
Yeah, please do.
And
You-
United was a United Weather Network. I think I'm a part. Someone invited me to be a part of that page, or I may have found it across my desk. Bill, I blame you. I may have to go back and look at that again. I don't know. There's so many things that come across my desk every day. People are tagging me and inviting me to be part of groups. Bill, you invited me to be a part of the Chuck Shack and a few other groups in the last 3 weeks. I'm like, geez, Bill, don't you know I got other stuff going on, boy? No, I'm kidding. I can join the group.
I
It's
get
fine.
in
Hey,
the groups all the time.
if
I'm
you
going, look, I'm trying to keep track of my kids here. If I join all these groups, I'm not going to see what my son says or my daughter says. So
No, that's true.
there's a guy in the Chuck Shack. His name is Quentin Ivory, and Ryan, you would like what he posts because he posts all these old WWF, AWE,
yeah.
all these old wrestling matches
I saw a few of those.
from the 70s all the
Mhm.
way through the 90s.
Yeah, I saw a few of them not too long ago on the page. I was catching up on a few posts, and I saw some wrestling. I'm like, wow, I didn't know people were going to post wrestling matches. I grew up on wrestling. Great, I didn't grow up on it until the late '90s, early 2000s, because I'm a bit young here. But I'm just saying, wrestling is wrestling. So still, I digress.
Greg says someone is making puzzles out of some of his photographs.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that's
that would
that's
be
a good way to
cool.
make a buck. I buy that for $1.
Yeah, really.
Sorry, that's an '80s reference.
Greg,
That's okay.
Greg, post the link to your photographs that you have for sale in the comments here in the live chat.
Yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
if he's on a Facebook page, Facebook will block a link.
Oh well. Oh, okay. Okay.
would-
That's
He would have to be
get on YouTube, Greg, and do it there.
He'd have to be on one of the YouTube channels.
Look at this. John Scarborough just posted the link to our YouTube channel, Nerd Culture. Thank you so much, John.
Hey, John does all kinds of things. Believe
I
me.
appreciate that.
We have a
It's what I
question
do.
here, and he's already
Quick,
had
name the
to
movie.
type stuff into Google before.
Yeah, John's our Google guy.
Well, thank you, John. Appreciate you posting the link
Or-
to our channel
or-
because we are this close to 700 subscribers. We are this close. So if you guys can get us over that 700 hump, that would be fan-freaking-tastic.
There you go.
Hey Dan,
Uh,
send our Russian bots over to his page.
they go where they,
Oh,
they
Yeah,
go where
sure.
they will. They don't.
that'll
they don't-
raise the algorithms.
Yeah, they'll
Now
come over to
here
my
you
page.
go.
That might even.
Whoa,
Yeah,
Michaela.
there you go.
Made my little heart go pitter pat.
Michaela, you can save that for something else. Save that for something else. Oh, yeah, Michaela.
You just made Ryan blush,
I know
Michaela.
you did. And Michaela Jade, I hope you had a great 21st
I think even though
birthday.
we're not on rails, we just got derailed. So
Yeah.
I hope Michaela had a great 21st birthday celebration tonight with her loved ones because she posted a picture of her time out and about with her family earlier.
mhm. I believe once the furnace was repaired, it became a very good day,
Yeah.
from what I have read.
From what you have read.
Well,
Yeah, we hear things. We hear things. We read things.
there are
too.
a lot of people on my Facebook, and
Oh, Michaela Jade, you and your comments. Oh God. Man.
oh,
I wonder, one of these days I hope to meet all of y'all at a convention somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I hope this happens because I want to meet the Michaela Jades, I want to meet the Amy Hales, the Keisha A. Cups, the Dan Holyfields, the Bill Star, Joe D. McPhee. I know you get what's it called? HallowCon?
yep, that's the one.
Yeah, if I have a chance to go to HallowCon, we can all gather together and grab something to eat and talk shop.
Every year, Halloween weekends.
Oh, Halloween weekend, my least favorite holiday of the year. But for you, Joe D. McPhee, I'll make an exception because it's HallowCon and you and your crew run that stuff.
No, Joe Dog McKeel runs it.
Or Joe Dog, excuse me. Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
So,
Jody
You,
McPhee.
you might see Jody McPhee there sometime.
sorry.
Yeah, we're hoping that he will be able
Yeah.
to to travel down from far Yankee land and like Bill.
I'm a million miles away in Maryland, so hopefully I can get out of Maryland and go do some traveling.
Hey, any excuse to get out of Maryland would be a good excuse, wouldn't it?
I know, right?
I've never been there, but I imagine it is just as bucolic as where I'm at. So
We have our fair share of good things about our state, but at the same time, I'm not a fan of winter, and it's one of the coldest winters we've had in 5 years, and I'm tired of winter, so get out of here. So we're supposed to get a snowstorm this weekend, but we're only going to get 1 to 3 inches, so I'm not all that concerned.
that's about what we got last weekend.
Yeah, that's what we're getting this weekend in my state of Maryland. So stay tuned. There's more weather reports to come.
Yeah, you will probably by the weekend after, you'll get something that'll be a little bit worse because next Wednesday and Thursday, we are supposed to get a major event.
Really?
And that's Greg Kisela right there. I recognize the Olden Wolf.
Greg as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, they're one and the same.
He went over to the YouTube so that he could post his links. Please do post. Facebook will probably still chop it out on our rebroadcasts on our Facebook pages, but on the YouTube channels,
it'll be on YouTube.
There are 3 YouTube channels and a Twitch channel here. They will come out on those 3 easily.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Odin's Wolf 21 says I'm not far from him.
Yep, that would be Greg.
Oh, Greg. Okay.
Yeah, Greg's in Delaware. I can't remember what town though.
Wow. Okay, Delaware's right over yonder here in Maryland. Like Maryland's here, Delaware's right here. So Delaware. I've been to Bethany and Rehoboth in Delaware, and I've been to Dover because I went to the NASCAR races at Dover International Speedway, which, by the way, that was fun back in the day. Nowadays,
Seaford.
Oh, Seaford. Okay.
Yep.
Not quite sure where that is in Delaware, but I've only been to Dover, Bethany, and Rehoboth. But I have been in a NASCAR race at Dover. Those were some fun times when I used to be a NASCAR fan back in the 90s, early 2000s. My favorite driver at the time was Dale Jarrett, the number 88 car, who was the Quality Care Ford, and then he moved on to UPS. And then eventually Dale Jarrett retired because some drivers do. Some people don't know when to quit. But Dale Jarrett retired. I was like, guess I won't be watching NASCAR anymore. Hey, Richard Petty, I know that guy. No, I have not met him in person yet. But
yeah, he autographed that one.
That's nice. Yep, I grew up watching NASCAR in the late 90s. That was some good times too. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, when what was it called? ESPN Speed World with Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, and Ned Jarrett. Those were some good times, man. Sorry, I don't mean to go on a random Throwback Thursday tangent, but I did grow up on certain properties when I was younger. NASCAR was one of them. And yes, I watched the Busch Series only because Dale Jarrett competed in a couple of races back in the day, and then Danica Patrick came on the scene, and I watched Danica's races, and then unfortunately Danica's career didn't last all that long. But whatever, she's an entrepreneur and she's making good money. So Danica, you landed on your feet, good woman, so good on you. Sorry, Dan, I don't mean to take over your ship here.
That's quite all right. I was kind of busy talking, so
that's right. We're just lucky Dan's not asleep.
Excuse me.
Who hasn't Bill Metz? God.
I think that one's going to come in handy here.
I was going to say that's kind of a that's kind of funny there. Oh God, man. Yeah, those were some good times watching certain sports when I was a kid.
Yeah, I used to be interested in Bill Elliott back in the day, and then,
I remember him driving the '94 McDonald's car.
Yeah, he was the most personable of all the drivers that I had seen, and I wasn't a huge NASCAR fan, so the guys at work are well, they're influencers basically. So I picked it up just to be able to have something else to talk about besides boring science fiction stuff and whatever, my usual forte, and got into it for quite a while, 4 or 5 years. Fun. And then Bill decided he was going to retire, and I just kind of drifted away after that. I have been through Dawsonville on my way to HallowCon.
Oh, wow.
And I have got to say, if Bill Elliott learned to drive on those back roads, no wonder he's so good on a racetrack. This is I'm in a full-size van, doing the speed limit, and I'm downshifting and braking and going around all these twists and curves and corners, and I'm going, damn, I wish my wife had still let me ride my motorcycle. This would be a fun road on a motorcycle. Ooh. It kind of reminded me of some of the back roads in West Virginia when we took a trip up there. To some of the guys from work went up there. 4 of us on bikes, and had something. One of the guys had a business involving satellite dishes, and this was this was back in the day before they got tiny. These are the 8 to 10 foot wide.
Yeah, I remember that.
We went up there so he could do a job with somebody he had a contract to supply up there, and then came back, and it was a fun trip. I mean, I have taken some rather long motorcycle trips, and I tell you, there was one year I started off in Athens, Georgia. I went to Dallas, Texas, and spent a couple of days with an artist friend that I met online. And then I went from there to Daytona and spent a week in Daytona, and then came back to Athens. The trip to Dallas, I think, was 18 hours almost nonstop except for gas and food. The trip from Dallas to Daytona was 24 hours, only stopping for gas and food. Once I got to the hotel, I slept for about 12 hours. And I walked funny because I had saddle sores from being on a bike for 12 hours, let me tell you.
You walk like you were going to have a duel with Matt Dillon or something.
Matt Damon.
No, not Matt Damon either.
Because he did a movie called The Last Duel most recently, but still.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen yet, but it is on my list on HBO Max.
Yeah, but that quote was from Team America World Police.
Sorry, I've only seen bits and pieces of that film, which, no puns intended, because I know some characters in that movie get blown to bits and pieces, so I won't say which ones. But yeah, no, the only tracks I've been to are Dover.
It was a very good gag in that film. I've only been able to stomach seeing it once. There's some questionable scenes of a rather adult nature, which sounds weird when you're talking about puppets, but
puppets.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a story for another day entirely. But no, the only track I've been to is Dover, and then we paid a visit to Darlington Speedway at one point. We actually got to walk on the track at one point. We walked on the track, and that was fun. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to go with my dad, my late father, down to Talladega because he took my middle brother down there one year. I was like, dang, I wish I could have gone to Talladega, because Talladega is one of my favorite tracks for sure. And it still is. Like, even if someone offered me tickets to go to Talladega, of course I would go. Like, it's Talladega.
Lord, yeah.
You can go over 200 miles on that bad boy.
So. Greg, go ahead and you've still got my messenger address, so go ahead and PM me that link, and I'll see if I can get it.
People sharing links, that's always a fun thing to do on this show, am I right? Hey. It happens there 24/7.
Just call me Lancelot Link, secret chimp.
That could be one of the other ones. I'm just saying.
Oh, memories. They should be sent to the Danube, but don't. Wait a minute, that's another movie.
I
don't know.
Shock treatment.
Good God.
Yep, the not a sequel, not a prequel, but an equal to Rocky Horror Picture Show, starring a lot of the same people. It was also written by Richard O'Brien.
Really?
And whereas Rocky Horror Picture Show, the theme was 1950s and early 60s schlock horror movies. Shock Treatment, the theme was 1960s soap operas and game shows.
Jeez.
It was definitely weird. Soundtrack's pretty good, though. So it does have that going for it. You can sing along with all these tunes.
I was not aware of this. But hey, as I said before, you learn something new every day in this world.
I am a font of useless information.
So am I. Everyone tells me how great I am at remembering random stuff about random movies, even if I haven't seen the film. Like, yeah, I know who directed it. Or no, I know who started whatever. Like, we talked about it last night because I competed in a team's movie trivia match with some friends of mine that I haven't seen in a long time, and it was great to be with them again. And I pulled answers out of my you-know-what, and they were kind of thinking, wow, I don't know. this guy's good. This guy's good. I said, well, they don't call me Ryan the Quote for nothing, because I can quote movies better than most people, and I got a noggin that if I watch something once or twice, the whole script can go right up here, and I can go give it back to you verbatim. That's the thing about having superpowers known as ASD. If you have autism, you can remember things sharply, and that's what I got. So I got no qualms about it. See, fun fact.
Yep. There we go. Now I see how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I try and do something on StreamYard, I have to relearn how I did it the last time.
I'm just learning the first time, and
okay, that's a little bit of a long link, but there we go.
If anyone wants to figure out what that Facebook group is,
you don't have to figure it out. Just click on it. I mean, it's not like it was a Russian bot.
Click it, click it, click.
So that should be Greg's photography page.
Oh, let me see what I can dig up here if I can.
Well, it showed the short link, but it wouldn't let me copy the short link, so I had to get the link from the photograph. So hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, you have my sincerest apologies. Did it work?
Yep, I'm on the not the Facebook part of it, but the landscape photography main page. Yeah.
Yep, that's what the link was for. So
nice. Okay, I got it. Fantastic. Beautiful. Anyway, I almost put it in the wrong place. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Good time.
So you mentioned, Ryan, about your trivia expertise on movies and stuff, and I'm not going to test you. I'm not going to test you.
I hope not.
I totally believe you in that, because I am probably one of the last ones who could test somebody on that. Music, that might be a different story, but I will ask you the question I usually ask anybody who's a big movie buff. What is, and I can't say just the one movie, but one of a few movies that if you were going on a trip and you had a DVD to watch a movie on a 14-hour trip and there was only one movie you could watch, what movie would that be?
Wow, that's a fascinating, as Mr. Spock would say.
Yeah, really
fascinating.
It would just barely be enough time to watch the complete and bonus versions of all of the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies.
No, not a series of movies, just one movie. Just typically a 2.5 hour movie or less.
You can have a bathroom break, every 3 hours.
Right.
Jesus.
See, I used to get asked this question with the one cassette tape or album or CD or whatever.
Well, for me, if I had to go on a 14-hour trip and I could only watch one movie, well, I need something that's going to provide fun and laughter and a little bit of everything, a couple of different elements within the film for certain reasons. So I'm going to go in my time machine, and I need to get back to the year 1985. Back to the Future. That's what I'm going with. The very first one. I'm going with the very first film, because that film is timeless and it is endlessly rewatchable, and you'll laugh at all the in jokes so hard in the 50s jokes that he says. Even though he's an 80s kid, that's up near John F. Kennedy Drive. Who the hell is John F. Kennedy? And then he says, I've seen this one. This is a classic. This is where Ralph dresses up as a man from space. What do you mean you've seen this? It's brand new. Yeah, well, I saw it on a rerun. What's a rerun? You'll find out. Do you know where Riverside Drive is? So, I mean,
no, but REO Speedwagon does. They made a song about it.
Who's president of the United States in 1985? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor? Who's vice president? Jerry Lewis. I suppose Jane Wyman is the first lady, and Jack Benny is secretary of the Treasury. Dan, Bill, everyone, I'm going Back to the Future, baby, because that film is endlessly funny and endlessly rewatchable, and it's fun. That's what I'm going for.
And I think you like Back to the Future as much as I like Batman 89.
Oh, I love
and I've seen your cosplay.
To be fair, the Back to the Future series has all sorts of little Easter eggs in them. That just, I mean, You can watch that movie over and over and over again and still find something new.
By the way, the shark still looks fake. As Marty says in Back to the Future Part 2, when the holographic shark tries to eat him in the year 2015, and it's Jaws 19, directed by his son, Max Spielberg, not Steven. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty hip. But yeah, Back to the Future is probably my answer to that question. It's a great film, and it's endlessly. And by the way, Batman '89 is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I love Batman '89. I mean, Bill, you are my number one guy, and don't forget your lucky deck. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I got to pull a Carl Grissom line there for you, Bill. Jack Palance, anybody?
But you gotta say it with that same wheezing, I got cancer in my lungs voice that he has when he says that line. Or you can, instead of impersonating him, you can impersonate Jack Nicholson, impersonating him saying the same line in that same movie.
Well, he says it in a different. Well, he does say it to a different character. He's talking to his henchman named Bob in that scene. So that's the Bob. Why don't you go down to the world, go to that reporter Knox, take your camera, see what he knows about this Batman. Oh, and Bob, remember, you are my number one guy.
And I.
Sorry, guys. I couldn't help myself. I like to quote random stuff.
No,
Hey,
go
Bill,
right
you brought up
ahead.
Batman
Go
'89,
right
which I can
ahead.
go into a huge tangent over because I love that film to pieces.
I do. It's absolutely my favorite, and
It's a beautiful car.
I have an autographed Michael Keaton that's going to go on the wall behind me as soon as I get a new frame. I got it years ago at a convention. He signed, and about the last 4 or 5 moves that I've done, you try to keep things together and put them all together. And the Robin one that I have up here on the wall behind me, I've told the other people this story years ago, so I'll keep this as a Reader's Digest version. But we saw Burt Ward, and I won't say who I'm friends with on Facebook because then that'll get Dan going again. But anyway, we saw him in 1972 in costume. Now, of course, Burt Ward was much older than he was in 1966 when he was doing the show and wearing that. But that is the one that he autographed to me back then. And of course, I was, 10 years old and still fanning or gushing like a fanboy. My brother goes up and he says, "What's your name?" And my brother says, "Val." And he says, "Okay." And he's signing the glossy photograph to my brother, and he says, "Well, is there anything you'd like to say?" And he says, "Yeah, you have hairy legs." And at that point, I wanted to drag my brother out and just beat him to death after saying that to the boy wonder. But
Some
But,
options
yeah,
never leave the table, Bill.
well, and there was no draped cloth over the front, so yeah, you could see under the table, and I won't say whether he had his legs crossed or not because this is not the green room. So anyway, but that photograph, that signed photograph of Burt Ward, was lost, I thought, forever. So, and I went probably almost 25 years thinking it was long gone, and lo and behold, it shows up in a box where it's been safely kept away from me for all those years.
Okay.
I'd
Let's throw
say
one
if
here.
I
Enough
was
of that
gonna
story.
And
If I
hold
was
on to
gonna
that
have
memory.
that movie question, it'd probably be things to come, because it's almost 12 hours long anyway. Take up the whole flight, and no, it is about
Dan's cheating.
It is about 3 or 4 hours long, and it
Okay.
is quite a detailed movie.
Oh, congrats, Michaela. Your monthly newsletter just hit the presses or went out. That's
Oh,
great.
right.
And
It just
yes,
went
I
out
am
online, yeah.
subscribed to that
Great.
newsletter, Michaela, so I look forward to reading it later.
Yep, I have it
Yeah.
too.
I am subscribed to that newsletter, which, by the way, that's a cool newsletter. Also, go to ckoepp.com because Cindy Kep has a wonderful newsletter. Wonderful newsletter. So if you're looking for some really good stuff,
and it just came out a couple days ago, I believe.
Yes,
yeah.
it did. And
She
hashtag
fills my
always promote your
Facebook
friends.
pages with the same kind of jokes she posts on everybody's shows.
Oh yes.
She's
Quick
great,
question
though.
for Brian.
And we get Ace Bonnie kind of relaying a lot of those same style jokes as Cindy Kep's over here.
John has a question for Ryan.
Oh no! I hope this isn't.
I was doing brain surgery. Give me a minute.
No, it's fine.
You doing Brian surgery?
Brian K. Morris does not need surgery. He needs to stop doing 50 shows a week.
That'll be the day.
Well, maybe he does need surgery then.
That's Brian K. Morris's problem. Anyway, John, you were saying something?
Ryan, the new Moon Knight. What do you think anything about it?
Okay, well, the trailer dropped recently. I watched it 3-4 times already. I'm intrigued. For me, I know Moon Knight has been around a long time within the comics. I haven't read any of those comics, so to me, this is like a new character for me to be introduced to this character. And
my God!
I am very excited to watch Moon Knight the series, but I'm also excited to go back and read some of the comics. And yes, I've reached out to my fellow nerds who know more about comic books than I do, and I said, "Hey, do you have any titles of Moon Knight I should probably read?" And by the way, if anyone's watching this, if you have any suggestions for me, hit me up in the DMs or let us know in the comments of what Moon Knight comics I should read, because I'm always up for new stuff.
I remember when that was first out, and it became a very complicated timeline for the character.
I heard that too, but I'm looking forward to the series. I think it drops on March 30th, if I remember correctly, for Moon Knight on Disney Plus.
Different writers revised the character in several different ways as time went on. It's like he got a book, everybody loved it, then it got canceled. A little bit later, he got another book. Everybody loved it. Then it got canceled. And over and over and over again. And there's so many different interpretations of it. I'm wondering which interpretations they're going to use and what combinations of those they might use. Oh, somebody. So Brian will be right back.
Yep.
And let's see. Oh. Michaela blushes when anybody says they want to read her newsletter. Oh, notes from an info. Okay. That sounds like a word of warning right there for those that are not.
Well, that's the title of her newsletter. Yes.
Yes.
But
it
is not necessarily X-rated.
Says good night.
Good night, Sarah. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it, as always.
Let's see. Oh, time check. We've got 20 minutes, guys. And since I've got to do Stupid O'Clock right after this, I'm going to have to fire up that show right now and get it ready. Oop, wrong one. Okay, that stayed all right. Let me see if I can click on the right damn link here. Now we know you can be in StreamYard on the same channel with two different tabs of your browser at the same time. So, isn't this fun? I bet Joe Dog's tried that. One with a microphone and one without, probably. Okay, let's just shut that off. And that's fully charged, so I can shut that off.
I'm gonna have to try and find a bunch of nerd culture sites. For some reason, every time I typed in nerd culture, it went to geek culture. So I gotta add. I need to ask Ryan if it's similar, or if they're affiliated or something like that.
Not sure. I think you can search it on YouTube and find it because I am subscribed to it.
Already did that.
Okay.
I was trying to find a Facebook.
I
don't know if he's got one or not.
Well, you'll find out in a little bit. Yeah. A little bit of we had a commemorative luncheon for the plant manager that is leaving tomorrow, and they had brisket or chicken. And okay, we got Bill and Bill. You got froze up?
Yeah, it froze up, and I tried to back out and come back in.
Well, you came in under a totally separate window, so I don't know how to.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
And Ryan's still out, and I had a suggested Moon Knight comic for him to read first when he came back, but I see he's not back yet.
Nope. And Michaela is headed to bed in a nice warm house for a change. Good
Yay!
night, thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Glad you got your furnace fixed, and happy birthday.
There you go. Now you
Andy's back.
Question.
So, Ryan, you were talking about Moon Knight, and I do have one for you to my suggestion. But first and foremost, if you can find it online to read, or if you're lucky and you actually get a physical copy of it, the August 1975 Werewolf by Night comic, which was the very first appearance of Moon Knight in there. You will be glad that you did. That's Werewolf by Night number 32, I think. So, but the series, though, was really fun for me in 1985. He had Marvel did his Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu series that ran through from 1985. I can't remember how long it ran, but anyway, that's a very good series to get better acquainted with the character.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Sounds very intriguing. I'm down for it. Unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to head out of here for the night, but it was great to be with you. Thank you for having me. Do appreciate it. Dan, John, good to finally meet you, because I've only watched you through the show feeds. I haven't actually met you. But hey, first time for everything, people. Thanks for having me. Just follow me on all forms of social media. Simply at It's Nerd Culture for nerdy content. We do Anti-Quote on Saturdays at 12 p.m. EST. Bobo's Weekly Bounty on Thursdays at 8 p.m. EST. And thanks for having me, guys. I do appreciate it.
Post links to Stupid O'Clock.
Okay, I will do that.
I put that one up there for
please.
YouTube videos, but I don't know.
Thank you.
I couldn't find the Facebook.
That's okay. We have a link tree that has all the links in it, so I'll just post the link tree because that's a lot easier. That has everything in one spot.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Good.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Have yourselves a good night. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad you finally got to come on.
Yeah, I finally got to see what all the hype was all about.
Yeah.
I like this set. I like this coffee shop you guys got here. I might stick around next. I might come back next time. You never know.
It's also a term.
Well,
we hardly ever use that.
That's great.
After you punch your card 10 times, you get a free pizza. So don't forget that.
I'll keep that in mind because I am a big pizza fan in my household, as well as myself. But thanks for having me, guys. Hope to be on here again in the near future. And take care of yourselves and have a great weekend and be safe out there.
Good night, Ryan.
Bye-bye.
Nice
See you
seeing
guys.
you.
Nice seeing you too.
Now, let me see. We got Joe Bachman.
Joe Bachman's here. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe. How you doing? How you doing? Now I sound like somebody from Friends or something. Yeah, we usually see Joe on Friday nights in the green room.
Yep.
But,
He is a frequenter of that. Now, if you want to do it like Friends, you got to do it like Joey and how you do it. But then that would be inappropriate.
I got the feeling most everything Joey did was inappropriate. But
Probably.
he didn't think so at the time, which was part of the humor.
Mm-hmm.
Living the dream or living the nightmare? That is the question. Life.
If you live the dream, does that mean you're no longer in the real world? Think about that.
Yep. It's 3 a.m. for Glenn, oh Lord, almost 4. Good night,
Oh,
Glenn.
wow.
Get some sleep.
Yeah. And thanks for coming or staying up or getting up or whatever he did.
Evidently, he stayed up. So instead of getting up
Yeah.
early, he stayed up late. And thank you very much, Glenn. It's much appreciated having you in the comment section of the show.
Yeah.
It's been an honor, just like it is with everybody else we got in the comments, except for the Russian bots. And we seem to have
Yeah.
bored them to tears. They went away. They'll come back. We've got
Maybe they're following Ryan over to the nerd culture.
Oh, let's see. We've got about 12 minutes before Last Man Standing. It doesn't seem to be time to get another beer, but it certainly seems time for me to get rid of the previous one. I'm sorry, I'll have to take a short non-commercial break here. Breakfast of Champions.
Oh, shit. John, I've been trying to figure out the picture behind you.
Really?
Yeah, well, I see part of it, but I can't see all of it.
There's something with the Facebook picture thing that it wouldn't. I'd have to go back and redo it, but it won't let me post pictures the way I wanted to. It used to.
Oh, I was going to say, it looks like it's enlarged more or something. And that's the
For some
reason why.
reason, it wants to try and do it in extremely widescreen, even though I didn't want it in extremely widescreen. But I'd figure out one day. But that is the front cover art for the original Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook.
Oh, really? Okay.
And kind of fun.
I was not.
I don't know. Can't remember.
Oh, and Carl's got to go to bed. He said he's got a long night tomorrow night. Yes, you do, sir. Probably longer than you think. But Carl, we'll see you tomorrow night. I imagine I will be in there a little earlier than normal because Laura's got to work Saturday morning, so I'm sure we're not going to stay at the auction all that long. Unless there's something really, really valuable that we want or something, but
well, I'm starting.
Now, I never was a big D&D player. I never got into role-playing games too much. I was never into the fantasy stuff. So I had friends that said, well, hey, get into this since you like comics and then like Mayfair games and all that with DC role-playing. So I bought some stuff of theirs. I bought some stuff from Marvel, which I can't remember what company was putting out the Marvel role-playing games at the time. This would have been mid-'80s. And I don't know. It just wasn't my forte, I guess, to do role-playing as far as the games and that. I love the Lord of the Rings animated series and a couple things like that, but I never went a whole lot beyond it.
Oh well, one day you'll have to sit down with the books. It'll take
Dan,
several
pull your
days,
microphone
but-
closer. You can't hear you, man. Dan.
I keep forgetting everything's reversed. Let me get it right into my beard. Is that any better at all?
A little better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's see what the actual settings are here. here. How about now? Is that any better at all?
No, it's just your microphone was too far away from your mouth. It wasn't picking up anything. So
Yeah.
Okay.
when you moved it, it did okay.
Okay. It gets the boom gets straightened out or bent every time I take the headset off and set it down. And then again, my head's bent, so it never gets in the same place twice.
Yeah, who says that boom is bent?
Hey, nothing wrong with being bent, as long as it's not tax day.
Yep. Be bent all you want, just don't be crooked.
Well, with a little bit of luck, all our folks that are under the weather will get better and be back on the show here this weekend.
Yes, we will be extremely lucky when that day
Of course,
comes.
Joe's been feeling bad, and then Stephanie was having an issue today, and just kind of sore. And
Well, Luke Stone has been.
I was
just going to say Luke Stone has been. Oh,
somebody's on a delay.
Might be me.
I'm just sitting here watching y'all talk at the same time. It's a oh Lord, there's a famous comedy routine about that, and it was copied by the Chip and Dale cartoons. After you, sir. No, please. After you, I insist. Oh, no, I insist. After you. Over and over and over again until nothing gets done.
That wasn't Chip and Dale. Chip and Dale was Disney. The one you're thinking of was a Merry Melodies with the two chipmunks that were always overly polite to one another.
Oh, well,
yeah, that's right.
Thank you. I had the two conflated there.
They had proper British accents for chipmunks. And then the Disney one, of course, they were squeaky. So.
The Goofy Gophers, that's the Warner Brothers ones. But I think they had individual names like Chip and Dale, but I don't remember what they were right now.
Me neither. I think they called each other cousin or something like that.
Yeah.
Wish I could remember the comedy routine that was taken from. It's probably something from.
Sounds like a Jack Benny.
No, it's older than that, but not much. It would have been burlesque or British. What was the live theater? The with the singing acts and stuff. I can't remember now. What the
vaudeville?
No, vaudeville would have been the U.S. version, but it was. This would have been back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So, don't know. I would have known if this had been a Jack the Ripper discussion 20 years ago, but I haven't thought about it in all that time. So, in any case, let's see, I've got the other room pulled up and almost ready to go. Let's see, no, not banners.
So do you want me to shut this one down again today?
Yes, if you would be so kind. And then...
we got a last-minute bot saying goodbye to us.
Another one?
Thank you for the hit on our algorithm.
Really?
Yeah. Dois Svidonia to you too, there, bot.
And don't let the screen door hit you where the coder split you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joe, that's what happens. So you think they'd forgotten all about you, and then all of a sudden your number comes up again and again and again. I got more bots attacking than what there was in
well, it's not really an attack.
Black Hole movie.
It's just spam, site spam. So
yeah, well, We're not even in the Ukraine. Leave us alone. Oh, heavenly day.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Ryan just sent me a Facebook friend request. So let me get right on that. We've only got a couple of minutes left before we have to hit the proverbial buttons. There we go. And I'll ignore the rest of that Facebook stuff for right now. Let's see. How long does high flight last? About 2 minutes?
About that.
All right, got about 20 seconds. So let's go ahead and go to that. And I will be Johnny on the spot with the buttons in the other channel.
Does it not say on the thing how long the...
I am not looking at it. I don't know. No, it does not say how much time it takes. So you just go right ahead. And I will be in the background to listen.
Okay, so he's got to start his show, which is based on this show, for those of you who are watching for the first time, or a Russian bot. And so he'll go get his show, and here in about a minute 30 seconds, I'll shut this one down.
and we want to thank everybody that's been out here tonight. Thank our guest, Ryan Permison, for dropping in. And we hope that he comes back again sometime. And thank everybody in the live chat that's here and makes things a lot more interesting for us, keeps us awake.
1 minute.
Yeah. I hope you get over your cough there, John.
Me too.
John's got to get a cough button. This is my cough button that I accidentally hit when I'm still trying to talk. So, and good night, Joe. Thanks for stopping in here tonight. And if you want to, hang around for Last Man Standing with Dan Hollifield, and we will continue the shenanigans there.
See y'all Friday or excuse me, Saturday.
Saturday night, 10 p.m. Central.
Yeah.
And anybody and everybody who will be coming to the green room tomorrow night. So anyway,
Good night, everybody.
good night. Bye, Candias.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.